Okay, I think that is timing pretty accurately the start of the run. This is TyKevin83, and I'm playing back a TAS of Pokemon Blue's Glitchless category, following the rules set by the real-time speedrunning community. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to drop a follow or a subscription. Leave some comments, tell me how you like it. We have the chat here watching the stream live at twitch.tv/TyKevin83, where I frequently show tasks like this. And what you're going to see here in a second is menuing in the game to set the options, because you actually want to do that in the game and not in the menu before the game starts, because that menu before the game starts is kind of laggy. It's a bit slower than playing in-game for the menu. And we're off to the start of our task now, and you can see a text box at the end there which didn't have a jingle. That one, it's faster to clear with the B button than the A button usually. Now, the inputs through these text boxes here are specially crafted to give us a good Squirtle. There's a very specific Squirtle we need. It needs to have exactly 12 or 14 attack, because the attack heavily influences how much HP you have. And the Squirtle also needs to have some other DV requirements, including like certain speed, defense, and special requirements, so that it can act appropriately later in the run on the Brock fight and some other places. Now in this battle here, it's actually fast to get one Tail Whip in, because the Tackle crits don't do as much damage as Tackle 1 in 39 rolls would. Or they do similar enough amounts of damage that it's not any faster in terms of the number of turns of battle. So we actually can kill Bulbasaur in 4 turns there total, with Tail Whip and then 2 1 in 39 rolls. So 1 in 39 being the maximum amount of damage you can roll, because the game first calculates how much damage you'll do, and then it rolls a random number between 85% and 100% of that damage. And 85 to 100% isn't really a thing in Gen 1 Pokemon, because all of the math is done off of 8-bit numbers, so it's actually a ratio out of 255. And it turns out that the 85 to 100% of 255 is a 39-bit spread. So the effective number of possible damage rolls is 39, and any of the rolls that are not exactly 255 will cause the game to round down. Because, like, for instance, 254 out of 255 times 6 damage is going to be 5.9 something damage, and then it'll be rounded down to 5. But exactly 255 out of 255 is 1, and that times 6 will still be 6. So there's these 1 in 39 damage rolls you're going to see a lot through the beginning of this run, and it's really important to understand thoroughly how that works. So that we can get those maximum damage rolls. Now, what we did on the way up to the mart and back, and now what we're going to do again here, I like to call YOLO grass, because we get to take extra special paths through the grass, being a TAS, and we also get to manipulate the movement of the NPCs, so that this guy we call the goalie here never blocks our movement. And now we're going to buy 4 Pokeballs in the mart. We need to catch a Flyer, a Cut Slave, and we also need an extra ball for bag space, and we need our main, which is going to be a level 3 Nidoran male. Now, from here, we just started doing a botted RNG manip. That means a computer program actually found the walk path here that gets this level 3 male Nidoran. And I'll tell you when we get to the Brock fight why it has to be level 3 and not level 4. So this is one of our 4 Pokeballs, and then the Flyer and the Cut Slave. The Cut and Strength Slave are 2 more, and then there's 1 for bag space, because we need to fill up our bag to 20 items so that a lot of the gym leaders in the mid-game don't give us extra items and give us extra dialogue. And then, again, very quickly here, there's going to be another botted encounter with a level 5 Pikachu. And this level 5 Pikachu also has to have very low HP and defense so that Squirtle can kill it quickly. From here, now, this whole forest is botted to give no encounters until we get to a level 5 Pikachu. A robot playing the game millions and millions of times until it finds the exact sequence of inputs. And this sequence actually only has 8 frames of delay. I'm very proud of this Pikachu I found. There's only 8 frames of delay to find this L5 Pikachu. And we want L5 Pikachu for a few reasons. For one, it can hit us into Red Bar in 2 hits of Thundershock, so that Squirtle will be in Red Bar for this next battle where it learns Bubble. And also, its experience is enough that we get level 10 for Onix, which lets us do something very, very cool on the Onix fight. Now here, there's actually 2 different ways you can handle this battle. You can crit tackle 4 times, but then you have to roll extremely precise damage ranges. You have to get the 1 in 39 damage roll I was talking about earlier, but then you also have to have a critical hit. So it has to be the maximum critical hit damage, and each of those rolls is about a 1 in 400 chance for a Squirtle. So instead of getting 3 consecutive 1 in 400s next to a 1 in 4 for String Shot to fail from Weedle, or like a 1 in 3 closer, we just do Tail Whip turn 1 and then 4 tackles that aren't criticals, and that ends up being pretty similar time because that's 4 critical hit text boxes that are avoided. Max Cash. So now the Brock fight here. On the Geodude, Bubble's damage isn't enough with a critical to kill Geodude in 1 hit, so instead we do 2 normal Bubbles. And now here, Nidoran hasn't gotten any experience yet, and we have to do a little bit of wait to get a 1 in 39 critical Bubble, or it's actually not a 1 in 39, it's the second highest damage roll possible from Squirtle. And then, Squirtle dies, we put Nido in, and Nido finishes off Onix. And this is why we can't get a level 4 Nidoran. Because if we get a level 4... If we get a level 4, he goes to level 9 from the Onix instead of level 8. Now on Route 3, we're going to see a lot of use of Horn Attack critical. Oh, and also here we have to stop and get escape ropes. So in the RTA route, you get an escape rope for Bill's house on your way up through Mount Moon after you've gotten a rare candy. But we're not going to go anywhere near there because we don't get rare candies in TAS. No, Jerry, if you get the level 4, you can't do that strategy because you will go from level 4 to level 9 and never learn Bubble. If you skip a level, like level 8, then you don't learn the move later in Gen 1. So you would never be able to learn the move Bubble, and you would never be able to kill Geodude. Or, sorry, Horn Attack. It's not Bubble. I'm learning Horn Attack on Nidoran. So, yeah, we Leer there and then Horn Attack twice. And then we have more Horn Attacks. So because we have to go to exactly level 8, we need a lower level Nidoran to get just under level 9 out of Onyx. And that way we avoid swapping back and forth like the RTA strat does on, what's its face? On Brock. Now, you'll also see a lot of the opponents failing moves here. So, the "but it failed" text is faster than the enemy's move missed text. And it's actually pretty easy for a lot of the opponents here to get that but it failed text because they have moves like Leer and Tail Whip, which have a 25% extra chance when an opponent uses the move to fail. Because the Gen 1 games give you that as like a little way of making the game easier. Because stat modifying moves are extremely overpowered in the first generation. They change your stats by a lot and it actually can be pretty devastating when used properly. So we're tackling on the first turn of battle here and then switching to Horn Attack because we want the Horn Attack to critical and we need to save Horn Attacks because we have a very limited number of them through Moon. And so we do the tackle first before any hardens happen out of Kakuna, and then Horn Attack critical after the harden happens so that the harden is ignored. And the same thing happens around Metapod. And there was a little bit of extra delay on that Caterpie in the middle because we needed to find a 1 in 39 critical and I was having a lot of trouble with that. I had a lot of trouble finding 1 in 39 critical hits in the beginning of this TAS, and a redo of it would fix that significantly. So you can see her again, not critting the first turn, and then critting the second turn to ignore the harden. Yeah, I plan someday to revisit this to fix some of the early game, but there's a lot of interesting stuff about this Red and Blue TAS that makes it very difficult to get the truly optimal strategies. For instance, like, once you get instant text, you can no longer use a strategy called print letter delay to change RNG, and so you have to use true entire frame delays for every amount of variance that you want. And you end up losing a lot of time to having to look for really strange RNG if you look too hard. It's best to actually compromise more on the most efficient move to use, to not have to worry about that crazy amount of frame delay you might need to use to get it. Like, an example is the Poison Sting critical you can get. There's a 1 in 39 Poison Sting critical that kills Abra on the Rival 2 fight on the bridge. And finding that with instant text could potentially cause a lot more delay than you would ever want to find. So it's something that we need to revisit once we have more automated searches for battle RNG. And you can see us manipulating here encounters through the entire Center Moon so we get no moon encounters without having to hard reset the game like you do in RTA to clear out the RNG state to a constant point. And now we start to be able to use Poison Sting's shake animation for that little extra time save. Supersonic fail is great. It's just like Tail Whip and Leer, saving us a few extra frames. And here's a strat coming up that you can't do in RTA. You have to fight this guy at level 15 because we don't have a rare candy yet. We can't get into Reno yet. I forgot, I'm sorry. I'm too deep in my commentary. Grimer here, just like RTA, you can use him to get pound and keep red bar. And now with this specific horn attack, you can Poison Sting the Voltorb. And with the coughing, you can get some horn attack crits in. And another horn attack here. Boom. We are done with Super Nerd. Yeah, in RTA you already would have evolved here. Now, really short wait here, and I was talking about the cut and strength slave earlier. This is where we get our cut and strength slave for TAS. Just go just a tad bit out of our way here. And we get a Sand Shrew. In Red Bar, no less. So that's why we take the pound from that Grimer, because we want Sand Shrew to be in Red Bar when we catch it. And we take a center here immediately so that we have a waypoint when we escape rope out of Bill's house. And I was saying briefly, we bought 7 escape ropes back in Pallet so that we would never have to teach a dig to the Sand Shrew. And we have our Nidoking. An interesting point is, if you have a Nidorino before going into Misty instead of Nidoking, it's much easier to survive because the water moves aren't super effective. However, it is not actually better, because if you evolve after the Misty fight instead of before, then you gain a few levels of experience, so you gain a bunch of HP, and then you gain a bunch of HP from the evolution. So you have to take several hits afterward on the bridge to get back into the Red Bar. If you evolve before Misty, you gain that HP while you're at full health, and then Misty's Starmie can hit you back into Red Bar. we take a very specific Bubble Beam damage roll here to get into 3. And then Horn Attack, we don't need to 1 in 39 critical this turn. But this turn and the next turn need to be 1 in 39 critical hits. Exact 20 damage critical hits. Otherwise, Starmie does not die in 3 turns. So you have 1 in 240 chances with a 1 in 39 critical hit. Because critical hits are about a 1 in 6 chance for Nidoking. And then you have, on top of that, the Gen 1 miss from Starmie, so that you don't die in the process. Now here's another interesting update, unique to this TAS. Not this, we do need to teach Bubble Beam. We're going to do that before we do another thing in this room. After we teach Bubble Beam, we're going to get Instant Text. Instant Text is a developer oversight where they didn't reset the text's display speed from 0 frame so back to the normal 1 frame for fast text. There's like a variable in memory where it sets the text speed, and it doesn't get reset after that menu if you exit with the B button. It's a complete oversight by the developer, but it doesn't corrupt memory, so we include it as part of the Glitchless definition, and we're using it here in this TAS of the Glitchless category, matching the way that the RTA speedrun community handles it. And now we start to abuse also Bubble Beam's shake animation, while also using Horn Attack for certain Pokemon where Bubble Beam isn't very effective, like the Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur. And we'll have Instant Text here all the way up until we get Thrash, because it only goes away if you go into your item bag or Pokemon menu or something like that. Only during certain menus is Instant Text eliminated. Another interesting thing here is, so you might be thinking, well, why didn't we get the rare candies to evolve faster and get Thrash faster? It's not actually great in TAS to get Thrash earlier, because for one, it would break up our Instant Text, so we want it as far back towards Bill's house as possible. And for a second point, we actually can beat battles faster with Bubble Beam than with Thrash. If you use Bubble Beam twice on a battle, or even 3 times, it's faster than using Thrash alone. Thrash is usually only faster in scenarios where you have 4 Pokemon to fight, because then the initial wind-up animation is completely counteracted by the frame save by not having to select a move. Thrash will go for 3 or 4 turns, and then you'll be confused afterward. But we, of course, can always manipulate it to be 4 turns if we need it to be in the TAS. Oh, I'll split. Nugget Bridge split. 25-35 bridge. After Misty, too. Yep, I should do that. So the next real split is the Surge split. And we're coming up on one of my favorite sections of the run here. Learning Thrash in Red Bar. Usually you're not in Red Bar when you learn Thrash in RTA because you intentionally rare candy to get to the level where you learn Thrash. But here in TAS, we don't use any rare candies, so we learn it in one of the battles. And we get instant text for most of the Thrash learn. We do lose IT for this last battle, sadly. I'm actually considering looking at fighting the different battle on Route 3 to get less experience, seeing what that does. It's probably not correct though, because it's probably true in TAS that it's strictly faster not to walk back and forth and just fight the extra 2 Pokemon. Especially with them being in Red Bar. It's 2 guaranteed Red Bar kills. And you know what, I bet you can't even kill them in one hit. I bet it's like each of them are 2 hits even though it's TAS, so it's actually not even faster at all in the battle. But now we're back to Cerulean because we got to center earlier. We go get instant text again. And this is our last instant text segment. We're going to keep that all the way up to our menu right before the cut bush at Surge. Now the RTA route right now does this dig rocket fight before a Misty so that it can manipulate its experience in a really strange way. But for us it's actually faster to do it after we've warped back to Cerulean, just so we're doing it on our way out of town towards Surge. It is now. A lot of changes have been made recently to make it extremely fast. Yeah, the frame perfect full restore. So in RTA that happens too now with instant text, where you pick up the full restore, and not only do you get to this fast jingle glitch because your name is too short for the text box to act appropriately, you pick up the full restore, and you also get a glitch with not a glitch, but like the instant text happening that we're calling not a glitch because it doesn't corrupt memory. And so the text box is extremely quick. And this 16 out of 39, or sorry, 16 out of 79 HP is perfect red bar. If we had any more HP at all, we would not be in red bar. So that's perfectly maintained from the amount of damage we took back on the Pidgeotto on the rival fight before the bridge. And we are now going to take damage from Pidgeotto on this boat rival fight again to maintain red bar. And the reason we're using these Pidgeottos is they can do a lot of damage with quick attack, and that quick attack damage is one of the fastest ways for us to take damage because we don't want to lose any full turns. It's faster to lose these half turns to quick attack. So we get crit quick attacked and then Thrash from turn 1 because we can manipulate 4 turns of Thrash. I actually watch an address when I'm doing these tasks. There's a specific address that shows the number of turns of a multi-turn move remaining. And I'll see, okay, it's 3 turns remaining. Now that'll work. Because it gets set when you select the move. So I select the move Thrash, it sets how many times it's going to last. It'll be 2 or 3 more additional times. If I see 3, it's good, boom, lock that select in. Otherwise, I'll have to delay the selection of the move Thrash to get the appropriate length. Oh, the Ghastly part's gonna be amazing. You know it won. But we're coming up on another fun little bit of trivia for Gen 1 tassing. This point right here, where we're exiting the boat, that point is very important because it's the point at which the RNG is set, or it's going to be set based on exiting the room from that time. We'll re-enter the Vermilion City. And when we enter Vermilion, it will set the can inside of the Surge Gym that is going to contain the first lock to unlock the Surge door. There's cans, puzzles, and you have to select one can and then select a second can next to it. So we actually manipulate that as we're exiting the boat. And then we menu in front of the bush because we have to be in the menu anyway to use cut. So we just put that one menu there in front of the bush. And yep, we got God cans out of that manipulation from back on the boat, and then also you have to manipulate the second can from picking the first can. Now, this fight, it's a manipulated 3-turn Thrash with a 3rd crit. Hi, Trash Adam. Oh, whoops. I missed the Surge split. It's a low 35. Now, another great difference from red-blue to yellow is this here. We get to escape rope out of the Pokemon fan club instead of having to walk back to the Diglett's cave to dig out. They actually patched this in yellow so that you could no longer escape rope out of the fan club. But that's why we do the fan club after the Surge fight. So we've already gotten cut, we've already beaten Surge, and now we can go on to the Fly Split. Then we have menu immediately here to get the bicycle to the top slot in our menu. Because it's the thing we're going to be using most. And we need Thunderbolt. Da 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 da, da da da. Love the bike music. Sandshrews using Cut. Another manipulated 4-turn Thrash fight here. So we now have selected Thrash and effectively manipulated the length of the Thrash to be a 4-turn. Red bar isn't quite as low as we'd like here, but there's no way around it. It doesn't actually matter if you get hit all the way to 1 even on the boat rival fight, because there's no way to maintain red bar all the way up to the heal pad from that boat rival damage. You gain too much experience on the boat rival. In yellow, you can actually manipulate the damage roll from Raticate to last you all the way to the heal pad. But you can't do that here in red, because you gain additional levels between the point where you take the Pidgeotto damage and the heal pad. And now we get a frame-perfect set of cycling for Rock Tunnel. And we get to use our last Bubble Beam. Carefully crafted our Bubble Beam Pokemon power management to exactly use 20. And now that we've taught Thunderbolt from Surge, we can take out these Slowpokes with 1 hit. My contacts are starting to get to me because it's so late. We'll finish this out though. We got this. Might have to jump off and take them off in a minute. So now here is going to be one of the specialty points of any Pokemon Red-Blue TAS, because, like I said, we had already run out of Bubble Beams. We are out, empty, on Bubble Beams. But we have 3 Rock-type Pokemon coming up. Can't beat them with Thunderbolt, but we can beat them with their own self-destructs. If they Gen 1 miss us, they will still die to their self-destruct. but not kill us. So we do not need to refill PP for the hiker fight because we have triple Gen 1 Miss Self-Destruct, which actually ends up being quite fast because the HP bars drop instantly when Self-Destruct happens for the opponent. And I use this Pidgey's quick attack here to maintain red bar through the heal pad. Gambler. I'm pretty sure I actually started manipulating the Doduo encounter all the way back here because I was having trouble finding a good Doduo encounter. So I went back and redid this battle until I found a battle here like with RNG that was really fast and also got us a good Doduo. Because you need to get actually Doduo as our flyer coming up after the mart. And in the underground here, we're going to get our first elixir. We need a few elixirs in red-blue for our horn drills. We actually need extra compared to the Japanese TAS because we don't take the Celadon Center ever. And we don't have as much experience to fight Koga with different strategies. Because they do the hidden rocket hideout segment in the Japanese TASs, which we don't do. Now, we buy 2 TM7s here. Like I was talking about earlier, buying extra Pokeballs. We buy an extra TM7 when we have to buy something so that we can fill a bag slot with that second one. And then we fill another bag slot here with a second Pokédoll. We have to get our fresh water for the guard who blocks entrance to Saffron. And then we get 3x speeds, which we need to get exactly 3, so that we drop a slot and... Actually, I don't think that... No, the number of X speeds you buy isn't too relevant. You could buy a 4th, but you only need 3. You use one on Verdian Rival, you use one on Agatha, and you use one on Champion. And all those are so that your horn drills and fissures will hit accurately. Menus aren't too bad. You'll see how they work max cash. They're actually pretty straightforward. But yeah, we probably want to get Pidgey if I ever do a rewrite of this in the forest, because you never do that scroll down of Pokeballs because they swapped them around to get to our bicycle at the top. The old 44-46 fly. Yeah, so we learn Horn Drill that way, and then scroll down to HM2 Fly, and back out and fly. Now here we have Thunderbolt, which does a great job of taking out Pidgeotto and Gyarados. And we also have Thrash, which is a great job of cleaning out the last 3 Pokemon. Probably is worth doing some more research on a rewrite of this if Thrash crit on the Gyarados ends up helping the speed of the battle at all. Because you could do a 4th turn of Thrash there. But it's not too relevant because the Thunderbolt is still a shake animation, and either way you have a text box. So it's just a few frames of text printing out the critical hit versus printing out super effective. Getting our 2nd elixir here. A very fast one in the Lavender Tower because it's a overworld Pokeball item. There's a different jingle that happens when you select an item with a Pokeball versus a hidden item. And so that elixir is very important because it's one of the only ones, or I think it is the only one that's efficient to get, that has the overworld Pokeball jingle. And now here, we've used a heal pad and gone back to full health and full Pokemon power on all of our moves. But we need Red Bar. Red Bar is so important for Pokemon Red TAS. So what do? We Thrash Ghastly for 4 turns and intentionally take Nightshade on each of those 4 turns. Slowly ticking back down to 5 HP. And this is the fastest way of anything I evaluated to handle the fact that Red Bar is so much faster for every battle between there and the Hypno. It ends up being something like 15 seconds faster to have those 22 seconds lost there than to ignore Red Bar until the next place you could get it at Koga's Hypno and do faster movement. Because if you don't get Red Bar there, you can afford to take the Celadon Center and avoid some flies, but if you do regain Red Bar there, you can't take the center because it would remove Red Bar again. So you end up having to do different unoptimal fly movement. Yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous how much time Red Bar saves between just that first Ghastly there, or the 3rd Ghastly of the 4, and the Hypno and Koga's Gym. It also ends up saving time because of the Snorlax encounter, because we go get the Safari Zone out of the way. And we do that in Red Bar because of that strat with the heal pad. There's also a way, there's a 3rd strategy, heal pad skip, which is also slower because skipping the heal pad and fighting that trainer takes like 40-45 seconds. And like I said, it takes 22 seconds to do that strategy with thrashing the Ghastly. We get another glorious 4-turn Thrash here. My RTA time is actually faster than this now. I just have a really old split file that's funny to use with this. But yeah, so we actually take left bike path here. In RTA, you can take the right side of Cycling Road instead of the left side, and you need to do that because of the rare candy. We don't, again, we're TAS, we don't get rare candies. So we take the left side, and the left side, I tell you, it has a max elixir. Which, the max elixir ends up being very useful for our bag space considerations. Manipulated Safari Zone so that we don't need to use any repels, and then also, which actually is very hard because the encounter rate is programmed to be very high so that you catch a lot of cool stuff in the Safari Zone, but it's also interesting that you don't pick up any of the additional items, like there's a full restore that you usually get in RTA, but full restores are of zero use to us because we want to be in Red Bar. We have to get the gold teeth for exchange for strength from the warden. And we have to get surf. And now we fly back to Fuchsia, since we've been through the city on the bicycle now, we can fly there, and we go fight Koga, because we need his speed badge boost very, very imminently. It has a carbo, so you can get the Safari Zone too. I don't know if you get it in red, but you can get it. There's a route for yellow that can get it. Manipulated 4-turn Thrash with 3 of the 4 turns of Thrash critting all the Drowsies. We don't need to crit the Kadabra because the Abracadabra Alakazam line actually has very low defensive stats. They're kind of glass cannons, the Alakazam line. And now because of the way that this works, we need to drill Drowsy and Hypno, and then we need a Thunderbolt coughing twice on the next battle. Because we don't have anything really to manage the fact that we need to drill 6 things, and none of our other moves kill any of the Pokemon in one hit. Thrash can kill the first Drowsy in one hit, but it can't kill the Hypno in one hit, so you'd end up doing a 3-turn Thrash across all those pokes, and then drilling the coughing. Which might be faster. I could time that out and check. It would be worth checking. And now we get level 36 from drilling the Weezing. We want that experience very badly because we need to rare candy actually to drop a bag slot and be able to pick up the secret key in the mansion. We need to drop some slot. We might as well use the rare candy, which we can get some utility out of, because not only does it give us the bag space to pick up the secret key, it also gains us enough speed that we will outspeed the Sylph rival's Alakazam. In combination with having done Koga for Koga's speed badge boost, which is a 9/8 boost to your speed. Elixiring, swapping up X speeds, teaching Surf, using that rare candy to drop a slot, send us back to the top of the menu so that we can escape rope very quickly when we get into the end of the mansion. Manipulating away all the encounters here. Not getting Blizzard because now that we've beaten Koga, we can beat everything else the rest of the run with one hit of any of the moves that we already have. Would be interesting to look and see if there's a way to skip getting Blizzard in yellow, but I don't think there is. The ice moves end up being just generally very powerful for what yellow needs. And it helps you use fewer items like Elixir and Max Elixir. We should reevaluate the yellow TAS route sometime, though. It'd be a good thing to look into. We have to give the guard here the fresh water that we got in the top of the Celadon Mart, and that bag slot will be replaced by the card key that you get in Sylph. So the timing of Sylph isn't too precise because the bag isn't affected by that slot. It's basically just like a 1-for-1 swap in the bag. And now our third and final main elixir. No extra steps to get to that hidden elixir. There's 2 extra steps to get to one in Lavender Tower. Maybe 1 extra step, 1 or 2 extra steps to get to one in Lavender Tower. But that one requires 0 extra steps, so it's a strictly better elixir. And the same with the one in the underground before Celadon. And now we get the card key because we fought the Arbok early. In RTA, a lot of times people have gone and gotten Earthquake before fighting that guy. I did one yesterday for Chewbacca, but this one has an update to be like 0.2 seconds faster at the end. So I'm re-recording it with the updated and polished ending. So we use Pidgeot here as part of our red bar management strategy. It's like the only thing that has quick attack between some of our tower red bar management in here. Because it's funny for comparing to a 216. And because I'm bad, also the Misty split isn't applicable because it's actually before the bridge in TAS. I'm just messing around with the split file so that I can show, like, okay, hey, this is when this thing happens. And the 216 is just for lulz. You might think it would be nice to drill some of these pokes coming up, like this Marowak and other things. It would be somewhat nice to drill because then you wouldn't have to worry about super effective text from Ball Beam. But we just don't have enough Pokemon power, we don't have enough PP to do that, so we use some interesting strategies here with very, very tight range Thunderbolt criticals to take out Nidorino and the Kangaskhan. And Escape Robo after elixiring. So we get those in the same menu there. One menu for 2 actions. And we have our Blaine fight, which will increase our special stat. Red Blue is really annoying because each one of the questions gives you the whole intro spiel about how the questions work. in yellow, the intro spiel only plays for the first question. I'm not sure what you mean, French Chewbacca. Like, you can't always clear it. I'm pressing the A or B button on the earliest actionable frame to go through it, and sometimes that means the stats don't show up, and sometimes it means part of the stat menu shows up. Sometimes it means the whole stat menu shows up. It's kind of random. We have the ball being crit that Blaine Growlithe because our Thunderbolt isn't powerful enough at the lower levels in this TAS compared to the Japanese TAS, which has more levels from the underground area. And we can escape rope out of Blaine's gym. Again, having to fly to Celadon because of the red bar strategy where we never take the Celadon center to avoid losing red bar. We do happen to have a spare horn drill available for this execute. Works out very well. So now we've used 3 and we have 2 more remaining that we can use on the Geodude gym battle. And Erica has a bit weaker Pokemon than in yellow, so we get the benefit of being able to thrash Erica's Pokemon. So we thrash crit Victory Bell. Thrash crit Tangela. Thrash crit Vileplume. Boom. Triple thrash. And now we can fly to Saffron to start the Sabrina battle. Da 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 da. Now, the Sabrina battle here needs a little bit of explanation. We need to manipulate a Fortune Thrash from the start of the battle on Kadabra. But it ends up being that a lot of the RNG this battle is very precise, because it all sets up the culminating final thrash hit. We are not faster than Sabrina's Alakazam here, and that's very important because we need to manage our red bar very precisely through the end of the game. We use Alakazam's Sidewave, which does between 0 and 1.5 times the user's level. So here, between 0 and 64. And we get the exact damage roll of 20, I think it's 25, to hit us to 1 HP. And then, not only that, but in response, we get a critical hit on the Alakazam with Thrash to finish off the battle. And that all has to be orchestrated in one single action. If the crit does not go off, it doesn't work. If the Psywave does not hit you to 1, you will have to take red bar again somewhere else. Black Belt fight being very scary in RTA, but we just handily beat it with 3 Thunderbolt criticals. And we use the enter and exit the gym strategy to reset the position of the Black Belt so we can walk straight back to Giovanni without any more battles. Keep our red bar. So we get to use Bubble Beam on those Pokemon that have very low special, because they're actually a lower level than they are in yellow. It's very easy to take them out with Bubble Beam. In Rhydon, it's even 4 times effective, so it just murders the Rhydon. The old 1:15:27 Giovanni. And another cool thing happening here is, so we have those exactly 7 escape ropes. We need to dig out or to escape rope out of the area exactly 7 times. So when we use the last escape rope to escape rope out of Sabrina's gym, we open up the bag space to get TM27 Fissure from Giovanni, which we can use to beat Agatha's Pokemon. Because we need a ground move to be able to affect the Gengars and Haunter. Otherwise, we'd have to get Earthquake. We'd have to do a Lady Q strat in Sylph and go get Earthquake to be able to kill Agatha's Pokemon. Pidgeot! We are faster than Pidgeot out the gate, so we go straight into Thunderbolt crit. And then we set up our X speed here because we can manipulate a Tail Whip fail. And swap into Bubble Beam. And there goes Viridian Bridle. Oh, Fran, it's also possible that you saw the stat box once or twice as a way of manipulating RNG for the next move use. Like, I might have delayed the input that clears the stat box by 1 frame so that you would see part of it instead of not seeing it ever at all. So you end up seeing the stats partially or fully, but then the next move does exactly what we needed to do. Excuse me. So now here we have to use strength so we can move the boulders, and then we're manipulating away Victory Road encounters, of which there are several possible. They are decently high encounter rate through here, so you have to do a little bit of extra work to make sure you don't get any encounters. Check out that sick swag boulder. If you press an up or down button on the right frame while moving the boulder left to right, specifically, you can turn while bouldering, and the animation where the dust kicks up ends up being based off of where your character is facing instead of where the boulder is moving. You have to use strength each time you go into a room. Probably is. I wanted to get this video out here with the latest improvements. Second swag boulder there. I call that one giving the girl a shower. And that swag boulder sequence there actually changes the RNG in a meaningful way, so we avoid encounters. It's not just for show. It ends up manipulating the RNG. I did indeed. I am very excited about our showing in the draft the last 2 years. A 4th swag. And a 5th swag. Yeah, the RNG was really unkind to us. We ended up having to swag more than I wanted to. Oh, there's no split there. It loses 2 frames, Fran. So 5 of them is like 10 frames to manipulate away all the encounters in Victoria Road. And I'm not joking, I actually was using those for encounter manipulation. I tried, Fran. This was just a bad pass. Like, the RNG going into it was in a worse than usual state. So, had some less than ideal stuff going on. The old 752 Lorelei split with Fissure Teach and Strength Teach. Basically, here we are ordering moves in such a way to make sure we use up all of our horn drills and fissures exactly the way we want them to. We need to have 1 horn drill left for Agatha's Arbok, and 3 fissures left for the 2 Gengars and the Haunter. We get Hypnosis fail from Gengar, so we get bought at failed text. Then we use our Fissure. That was one there probably where the stats couldn't be avoided being seen, even with pressing B on the optimal frame. And then, yeah, continuing to manipulate Fissure 1-hit KOs. Swapping to Drill for Arbok so that it does not show super effective text. And we have level 51. And we swapped up Max Elixir discreetly while we were doing the Giovanni menu. And that actually saves about 25 to 30 frames over not swapping up the Max Elixir. Swapping up even 1 item is worth it when you're a TAS and you can do the swaps frame perfectly. Because scrolling through the menu will always take a certain amount of extra time. It's like it took like 80 frames to scroll all the way to the Max Elixir, where it took 54 to do the swap. So that's why this revision series today, to get an extra handful of frames out of that swappage. And then ended up losing a few back to the RNG issues, doing extra swag boulders in Victory Road. We're still getting our optimal outcomes, like not needing to X-speed the Lance fight because we get a supersonic fail into a Thunderbolt critical hit, and then we get Horn Drill or Dragonite to finish off the fight.
Piss off! What at the end of the main row?
We get mirror moves, so we get another failed text box on Pidgeot. Probably the fastest thing that can happen there. And our HP is going to stay exactly in red bar, like I was talking about. No red bar manipulation all the way between Sabrina's Alakazam, where we take that Psy-Whip to exactly 1 HP. And here will be 36 out of 174 in perfect red bar to finish off the Elite Four. Continuing to use our manipulated one-hit KO moves. And Horn Drill is the move of choice for the champ fight, in large part because its animation is faster with animations turned on than most anything else you can do in the champ fight.
Piss off! What at the end of the main row?
Thanks, Fran. So there's that 129.53 I was talking about. And we split on the last input, so I'm splitting by TAS timing there. If you split by RTA, the time would be about 10 seconds shorter because you have to go from that last input to the fade out, which is a few seconds. But you also, in RTA, split after New Game, which is 14 seconds into the start of TAS timing. So this is the equivalent of a 129.40 something. For an RTA, I'll look it back here and actually watch what that timing looks like. Thanks, Max Cash, and thanks for watching, Social, and everybody else here tonight. So that's at 19. So it's about 2 seconds, actually. at the end. So it's 12. So this would be a 129.41 in RTA. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Again, if you enjoyed the TAS, drop a follow or subscribe, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. And if you are so inclined, feel free to drop by the stream at twitch.tv/TyKevin83. Feel free to comment in the YouTube section as well, or comment on any of my Twitch videos, and hopefully I'll see it. I would probably see the YouTube comments more likely, and I can answer any questions there. Thank you for watching.